Hello everyone, welcome to a year in Sizecoding with PS. This is a video specially made for the Love Bites demo party in 2022. I'm going to go through all the highlights from the year 2021, but only for demo scene productions below 1 kilobyte. So anything on 512 bytes, 256, 128, 64 bytes, and even 32 bytes, as we can see now. I think we also have a 16 byte intro listed here. It's going to be divided into two videos, so let's get started covering all the productions from the year. So the year started very well with FReady releasing something for the Atari called 2020-2021 as a little Atari 8-bit production, and yeah, good enough to kick off the year right on the few starting minutes. Then we had the D-Halt demo party happening in Russia on the 7th to 9th of February, where we had a couple of compos dedicated to Sizecoding releases. The high-end 256-byte compo had a few interesting releases. Byte Sunrise by Sense was one of the ones that I wanted to highlight. It got third place. And then the first prized release as well, Marvelous by Marquee Design, is also pretty interesting for the TIC 80 on 256 bytes. Then we had the low-end 256-byte intro competition. A lot of interesting releases there. 14 releases overall. Zen got third place by Piezu and Svoy of Agenda for the Atari ST. Very simple composition, but had a nice concept behind it. Second place for the ZX Spectrum, we had Superform by Marquee Design, and in first place also for the ZX Spectrum, we had Gleast by BFox. Those were the highlights from D-Halt 2021. Oh, special mention that Gleast by BFox was nominated for a Nano Award. Then on Chaos Constructions Winter on the 21st and 23rd of February, we had an old school tiny intro compo which had a very cool release, Hip Throw by Trefi of Kpaku team. This was one of my favorites from the party, really cool intro. And also the PC tiny intro competition had this entry called Become Love by Marquee Design, which won the compo out of 7 participants. Really good for the MS-DOS 256-byte intro compo. Then in March we had Love Bite, which was the first time that Love Bite was organized, and it got a record submission of all sizes of Sizecoding platforms. The 32-byte intro compo had 40 submissions, ridiculous number of entries. In third place we had Neon Fire by Ilmenit for the Atari. Rolla with a 32-byte intro for MS-DOS called Conwayu Sivot, I guess that's how it's said. And Super Rogue with Blake 32 won the compo with totally mesmerizing entry that got nominated for Nano Awards as well. On the 64-byte intro compo, we had a total of 35 submissions, also an extremely full of entries compo. Rise of Ramses for the MS-DOS got third place by Helmut. Also by Helmut we had Through the Matrix, also for MS-DOS. And the last one also for MS-DOS, we had Terran by Rolla that got the first place on the 64-byte intro competition. For the first time ever, we had a fantasy console Sizecoding competition on the demo scene. We got a total of 22 submissions on the fantasy console 256-byte intro competition. I think it was one of the best compos that we had for the TIC 80 in particular. It popularized the TIC 80. You were also allowed to do Pico 8 stuff, but most people did stuff for the TIC 80. In fourth place, we had a Snowgazer by Blossom, a very conceptual piece instead of focusing on technical achievements. Really enjoyed it, really cool to see. In third place, we had Bamboozled by Super Rogue of Marquee Design. In second place, Old School's Moving Along by Blastar and Dresden Boy, using some old school effects and using this very special trick of including in the scroller the text from the code itself. On first place, we had Elmwood with Marbles and Marmor, making, like, these colors are not possible on the TIC 80. You have to do special scanline trickery to get these colors and to focus on that aspect of getting this particular palette and particular effect under 256 bytes. It's just mesmerizing at the time, and yeah, that won the fantasy console 256 byte intro at Love Byte. But we had more competitions for Sizecoding at Lovebyte. The high-end 256 byte intro had a total of 17 submissions. In second place we had Hydraulic Pixels, the House Edition by Ionic of Astro Idea. That was ridiculous amount of different scenes that it had for 256 byte intro. But the winner the winner entry was actually Up Down by Sense Install for MS-DOS as well. And it also got nominated for a Nano Award. So congratulations, Sense Install, for your nomination. Talking about Nano, we had a Nano game competition, which was to make a game under 256 byte. We had a few interesting releases. For the ZX Spectrum, we had Cheese by Joker getting third place. In second place, we had Skip Ahead for the TIC-80 by Exoticorn. And in first place, also for the TIC-80, we had Bytestorm by Marquee Design. In the old school 128 byte intro, we had a total of 16 submissions. The best one, the highest voted one, was Prokaryota by Ilmanit of Agenda, and it was really cool for the Atari ST. Last but not least, the final compo that we have from Lovebyte was the old school 256 byte intro. 35 submissions, ridiculous number of entries, all sorts of different platforms released. And seventh place, an Apple II intro called Never Gonna by Dieter of Desire. Then we had Electronica BK entry as well. In fourth place, Fast Cubes by Adam Bazarov. And then second place, Sprout with for the Atari ST by Ilmanit and String. And in first place, and also getting nominated for a Nano Award for the Atari ST, the Quarter Express by Ilmanit and Piezu of Agenda. Amazing amount of content for 256 byte intro and fitting music as well, so really cool entry. That was it for Lovebyte. A lot of stuff happened at Lovebyte 2021. Looking forward to see what happens in 2022. Moving on in the year, on the 2nd and 5th of April, we had a revision demo party happening online again that year. We had a 256 byte intro compo. In fourth place, Wait For It for the MS-DOS, has a few recurring elements from a previous Desire intro. I'm not talking about the Dragon Fractal. And in third place, we had Seraph by Rolla. Rolla is a legend in Sizecoding, and this entry in particular for me was the best of the compo. But we had other stuff also being released. Dragon's Lair ended up getting second place. Dragon's Lair by Helmut of Desire. And in first place we had Light Crypt by Gopher of Alcatraz, both of them exploring ray tracing in DOS 256 bytes, which is ridiculous. Those were very good entries, as is usual on Revision, since it's the largest or more famous demo party of the demo scene. But we had a couple entries on the Wild compo that are also worth mentioning. A Byte Battle pack compiled all the entries from the Byte Battle competition that happened at Lovebyte. For those who don't know what Byte Battle is, you get two coders face-to-face for 25 minutes, and you have to code the best effect you can do in the TIC-80 coding environment, so Lua, and you have a limit of 256 bytes. You have to compress your code to fit the limit, otherwise you are disqualified. And that happened for the first time at Lovebyte, and they picked up all the effects that were made during that Byte Battle and they compressed it into a single card for the TIC-80, where you can see all the different effects from the different people and also see the code that they did. So it's a very nice learning pack if you want to know more about coding for the TIC-80 and Sizecoding in particular. There was another release also at the Wild Compo for the compo pack of the TIC-80. So there were two packs for the TIC-80 released at Revision, the Byte Battle pack and the Lovebyte 256 byte TIC-80 compo pack. One included all the byte battle releases, the other one included all the 256 byte intros released at Love Byte. And that was it for revision in terms of size coding. Moving on to Outline 2021, happening online as well. 13th and 16th of May, we had a lot of interesting size coding entries. An executable graphics called Campers for Linux in 256 bytes by Grz was very cool to see on the executable graphics compo. We got 4th place, but it was facing up against 4K executable graphics with a lot more room to do stuff. On the new school 128 byte intro competition, we have to highlight Kevin's Nightmare by Helmut of Desire. 32 byte intro, 32 bytes that won the 128 bytes. So all the other entries sucked compared to this one, which was only 32 bytes. Amazing work by Helmut. On the new school 256 byte intro compo, we had a very intense compo as well. Orange by Tomcat for the MS-DOS got 4th place. In 3rd place, Majestic for the TIC-80 by Helmut. In 2nd place for Linux, a 256 byte intro called Calculating Space by Grz. And also for Linux, in 1st place, we had XOR Architecture by Byte Observer. All of these really good entries worth checking out. Old school 128 byte intro, we had Blueprint winning the combo with only 5 entries overall, but still a pretty good entry. On 128 byte intro for the ZX Spectrum by Super Rogue. Last but not least, on Outline, we had the old school 256 byte intro compo. Change Me got 2nd place for 256 byte intro ZX Spectrum by Aki. And in 1st place for the Commodore 64, we had Sapper Aude by Ilmenit of Agenda. So, and this one also got nominated for a Nano Award, so worth checking out. That's it for Outline, but we still had more parties coming up. Shadow Party in France, happening online only, but organized by French demo sceners. At the New School intro competition, we had a single entry Apollonian by Grz for Linux, a very cool 256 byte intro, following up the series that Grz has been doing throughout the year. And then they had a special TIC-80 256 byte intro due to many submissions being submitted. In 2nd place, Animistic by Helmut, and in 1st place, Looper by Marquee Design. Both of them interesting to check out. A release worth mentioning outside any compo is Wanderlust by Marquee Design. For 16 bytes only for MS-DOS, it was made to celebrate the creation of the category at DemoZoo. Unfortunately, there aren't enough 16 byte intros yet to convince Garguy to create the category on Puet, so please make more good 16 byte intros and make sure that we have a 16 byte intro category on Puet as well. At Poland. In Poland, we had the Lost Party happening from the 8th till the 11th of July, and it had a couple of good competitions. For the Atari's 256 byte intro, it had 2 very good entries. Church from Gork had this isometric view of a church, what appeared to be a church, and the winner entry was Breakout by Piezo and Tricks of Agenda as well, doing the typical Breakout, but in 256 byte. It also had a ZX Spectrum 256 byte intro competition. In 2nd place we had Metaballs by Busysoft, and also by Busysoft on 1st place we had Wi-Fi Video RAM Filler for the ZX Spectrum, as mentioned before, and this one was also nominated for a Nano Award, so also worth checking out. At Summer Hack 2021 in Sweden from the 9th to 11th of July. We had quite a good, quite intense Atari Sizecoding competition. In 4th place, we had Twisty by Ultra of Cream, which was a typical Twister, but looking pretty good. Then in 3rd place, Fruit is Great by Effect. In 2nd place, Renegade Breakdown by Speaker of SMFX. And in 1st place, Dragon ST, the usual Dragon Fractal by Atari BDSM. That won the competition, combined 256-byte intro combo at Summer Hack 2021. So that concludes part 1 of this series of video recordings highlighting the best releases of 2021 in terms of Sizecoding. Stay tuned for the second part, which should come to a screen near you soon. So see you then. Bye bye everyone. Take care.